In this video, I'm joined by a fan favorite who I had the pleasure to stream with last year while we were all anticipating PulseChain. And now here we are with the mainnet and all the goodies that come along with it. So today I'm super excited to be talking to the beautiful and intelligent Miss Hodpril. So with no further ado, let me bring her up. Hey, hey.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you. It's been, I think, a year since we last streamed, which is just crazy how time flies. How have you been?
Very celestial. I've been,
I can see.
yeah. I've been following the pulse chain. I've been doing what I think I should be doing when I should be doing it. A lot of holding, not all holding. I have delved a little bit into the LPing, but I don't want to dox myself. But I did wait long enough for those ratios to get kind of where I thought it might be okay to delve a little bit, not too hard into it. So everything's been good. These the bridge was congested for a while, but that's not really a problem. And now it's not, and everything's going well on the pulse chain. I'm so excited. You know, I'm a little nervous to stream because I don't know why. I feel like it's
You're a natural
now.
What are you talking about?
No,
You're a natural.
I'm in space. I'm blurry and I'm in space. And I did stream with Maddie and Katie, and he put us together. Like, here's a blonde and brunette, you know, right after Pulse Chain. And I'm like, yeah, Katie, you've been on Twitter following all of this and following, you know, even people saying that this was never going to launch. And it was 2 years ago when we all sacked the initial pulse, less than that for PulseX. But it's real. Like, this is really happening. It's
that's why I wanted to get you on, because last year we were so like, is it going to launch? And now it's actually here. It's a real thing. So how exciting to get you on. Let's go back a bit, because I want to hear about briefly the story you told me backstage, but about when PulseChain launched, what was happening with you at that time?
I was visiting, I have a blurry camera, guys, so if I adjust my light, that's why. I was visiting my mother in, it was Montana. And I was in an RV when it launched. And on motel Wi-Fi, I was borrowing, and I looked at my phone, you know, like, oh my God, it's here. I'm alone. It was like I believe it was at night. I think it was, I remember I had the heater on. I was by myself. I'm like, wow, I'm not by my computer or anything, but this is pretty amazing. But in a way, maybe it was, you know, God tempering me, making me hold during this volatile time too, right? You don't have, in a way, I left when I knew it was about to launch, because that would stop me from making immediate moves. And I probably wouldn't have done it anyway, but that was a smart decision on my end, I think, of just waiting to see what the opportunities are, waiting out some of the volatility. It's still quite volatile. I mean, Katie P. Crypto said that she thinks it's going to be about maybe 3 months of hardcore volatility. Like, that's about right, 2 or 3 months. But I mean, there are some games you could play with the volatility as well, right? So it's just crazy to watch. There's so many things to keep track of. You can tell how discombobulated my brain is just from constantly looking at this
Join
stuff.
the club. Like, there's too much going on. And I mean, it's great. It's here. We all wanted it. But then plsburn.com is a lifesaver, that site, because, you know, you can see the bridge, you could see the stats and the charts and what's not all there. But there's so much launching, and we haven't even really had that much launch. We've had the mainnet, obviously. We've got PulseX. We're still waiting for a lot of big protocols to launch all their dApps and stuff. So we're just getting started. But I know what you mean. I'm a bit discombobulated.
That's a smart dev. The guy who was doing Pulse Burn, he did there was a globe that was that he put on the site that was taking a lot of GPU power, and he's a very smart guy. He made the what was it, accrued incentive? What was the name of the incentives?
That's a really good website too, right? Accrued Inc.
Yeah, accruedinc.com and PulseBurn. They're incredible. I'm constantly on these sites updating, like seeing what's going on, and they've been working really well. So props to that dev.
While most people are scrolling Instagram all day, I'm scrolling back and forth from Accrued Ink to PLS Burn and checking the stats and what's not. So yeah, shout out to whoever made that, because that's a smart guy. But listen, PulseChain is nearly 2 weeks old. What are your thoughts so far? Has it exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, it has. It has exceeded my expectations. I thought there might be more. I know they took a long time, and I don't mean it to sound like I didn't have any, faith in the devs or anything, but it's kind of like when the Mars mission happened. Like, I don't know if this is quite going to land on Mars. I know everyone expects that it will, but I think that's kind of a load of crap, and I don't think that's possible. But it did. Mars landed. They landed on Mars the first time. Blew me away. And I got sort of the similar feeling when this launched without any real hiccups other than, the bridge, and maybe you needed more pulse to unwrap your stuff. Other than that, that is, maybe a misspelling here or there. It went very seamlessly, in my opinion. Thank God. Everything's been beautiful. The pumps, even when it's dumping, even when like the speed of the incentive token going up, the parity that's generally been happening between E and P-Hex, it's all wonderful. I couldn't hope for a better launch. And it already did a 2x, and I anticipated PulseX might go a little, maybe under SAC, maybe about SAC price, initially. I'm bullish for it in the long run, though, especially when single-sided staking come out. But
single-sided staking is going to be fun. no risk.
Yeah, well, so yeah, I'm really happy with it.
I enjoyed the single-sided staking when I was more in my degen days on PancakeSwap, and you just stake and, you collect some BNB or cake or whatever you're doing. And I'm looking forward to that with PulseX. Not financial advice, but I quite like farming some ink every day and then seeing what's on offer. And at the moment, I think PLSX is quite tasty. So, but you said you obviously staying true to your name somewhat with hodling. You're doing a bit of LPing. Obviously, you don't want to dox yourself. Right. But you may be playing about here and there. Can I get some more info on that? Because that interests me.
I prefer to hold. Usually when people have different definitions of holding too. Some people consider holding not even ever doing LPing. Just getting something and doing nothing. Even just using MetaMask to swap instead of Uniswap and just sitting on your stack. There's some people that hodl, but the way I do it, this is not financial advice, is I err on the side of holding. When there's something that's crazy, the new thing's happening, okay, give it a few days, see what's happening. And then I'd say I like to go high squid level on every movement, where I think the way I think about things isn't really the FOMO way, even though everyone, of course, has some when something's going on. But you don't have to make the exact smart decision at the exact moment every single time. You can just make a good decision, like a 3/4 of the way kind of up. You're not the top person who got in immediately or having the biggest APY or the first in a token necessarily, but just slowly kind of go up, make really smart, calculated decisions. And that's better than kind of doing the degen thing of constantly trading, because I've done that before too. And it's just, it doesn't make enough money. And if it does, it's not worth the time you're spending 100% in front of the computer. But if you have a solid plan, if you know how to compound something, when to do it, not to, while not losing in fees, depending on what project you're looking at, by all means, I consider a smart, calculated move, planned out, written out, everything like that. You can kind of be a hodler and do that a little bit. you know?
I agree 100% with you.
So
I just think that, like you said, there's a shiny new object around every corner, especially with a new layer one. And I think even me and you, who I guess are quite similar in the fact that we know that holding long term is going to be the best bet, you still think, oh, maybe this, maybe that, right? It still runs through your mind. And I was talking to my good friend Hex Turbo recently, and we were like, even though there's so many things to do and it's overwhelming, let's be honest, over 2, 3, 5 years, the best play is going to be, if you sacrificed holding your, most likely, who knows, right? But most likely it's going to be holding your bags and not getting them chopped up by trying to get into this meme coin or do this and that. And there's a few obviously things that every day there's a few different things you could do. And then obviously that becomes hundreds of different things over weeks and months. But I think holding long-term is going to be your best bet. And then obviously that's nuanced because there are good protocols that are popping up, but you have to discern what's going on, because I think a lot of people, they said they were going to hold, and then we can see a lot of people dumping even below the sacrifice rate with PulseChain's, right? Which is crazy.
Yeah. So the interesting thing, like, even the arbitrage thing that happened with the depegging with the PulseX sacrifice, what did he change into DAI or something and made some money off of that? People that hold, or it's like, I have the Hodpril strategy, right? I'm going to use that for liquid loans, and I'll use it for the POWERCITY stuff too, with the PulseX and everything, where put a certain percentage in the vault, take the loan out, or it is 1,000% for my strategy, and kind of compound, get the stable, put it back. You know what I mean? But I have the plans, like hard written down, mathematically figured out plans for specific tokens, looking at stuff like in a day. Oh, let's pump and go for it. Careful. And if you're going to do that, my suggestion is, this is not financial advice, do it with 20% or less of your bag if you're going to go degen crazy. Because you know what? Some of that's actually kind of good for the what's it called? The system, right? The whole economy of it. Like, we want people to be excited about all of these things, but if you just put a certain percentage, because it's fun doing all this, for a certain percentage of your bag. I mean, I'm into new stuff. I've been playing the Pulse Kittens, and there's a lot of cool stuff showing up, and it's a lot of fun to be part of a new ecosystem where other people are like, oh, this bridge needs to clear. How am I going to get this wrapped pulse in it? And when you go into Deck Screener, you look within all of our tokens, what's going on. It's already getting really fun. Transactions are already faster.
Oh yeah, I think the bridge, last time I checked on PLS burn, was like 99% or something. Or I think there's pretty much coming over straight away now, right?
The reason I consider it clear is because it's never going to be 100% unless people aren't still putting it in, right?
That's true. Yeah. So I mean, I think people are getting it within the hour or whatever, which is fine. For me, I put something through, and it took me, I bridged some Hex over to LP, and it took me about 15, 16 hours, but that's when the bridge was still at like 70, 80%. So yeah, I think it's working well.
99%.
There we go. So if you want to bridge stuff over, it's going to be pretty much as fast as it's going to be right now. So, but like you were saying before, you've got this mathematical plan set out with the Hodpril strategy, which is so different to being like, oh, Dogcoin X is mooning, I'm going to throw in, X amount, where you're also saying whatever you're doing, whether it is having a little gamble on a meme coin or it's doing some sort of strategy, you're only using a certain percentage of your bag as well, which is always clever because you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
And I have to throw credit to Jesse for knowing a little bit about like liquidity pools and stuff like that, and that sort of thing. Like I feel like I learned a bit from him from all these strategies, and as well as other people, in these telegrams. Really, it's mostly where I, so there are a lot of smart people around that will help you no matter what your level is, because no matter what, you don't know everything, and there's different levels of pleb, but as long as you're responsible, you take that, responsibility with what you do, and you take a small enough portion of your bag. I think that's kind of a hodler thing to do.
Hmm.
Like, don't take your whole bag and put it in, you know, even if you're going to get massive gains. Like, do you need to be a whale or shark?
Exactly.
Some people do, you know, like in everything, you know what I mean? Like, just do things intelligently, safely. But yeah.
And also, you can dip your toe in first. So if you want to be an LP and you don't know, you've never done it before, just LP with a tiny fraction, right? A couple of % of your bag, and just so you know how it works and what's not. But a lot of people, and I mean, crypto especially attracts the get rich quick kind of mindset, doesn't it? So people are aping
don't
into this.
ever put a big bag for the first time you do it. Test it out for a day or two at least.
Exactly.
People, don't get wrecked. Hexaco. Well, I guess, you know what? There are people that aren't even Hexicans that are in the Pulse chain now. There are people, you start seeing them on the street. I had a friend say that he met someone, wearing like a Pulse shirt or talking about Pulse at the gas station. I had a friend that works at a casino and heard people talking about the Pulse chain, how I think they couldn't unwrap or something because they didn't have any Pulse. I guess that means they sacked for PulseX or were trying to bridge in from Ethereum possibly, but
I've seen that a lot on Twitter. People can't do anything because they haven't got any gas.
Yeah, but you guys are building Portal X, so that's kind of cool, and people.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah,
people can bridge in.
It, so
that's going to be up and running soon, and there'll be lots of obviously other different options. But at the moment it's a little bit tough if you want to play around and you haven't got any gas, and it is a little bit more expensive than people thought. So we'll see how that plays out. Talking about Hex, obviously, your background as well. What do you think about E-Hex and P-Hex? Because do you think they're going to reach parity and stay there? Because it looks like P-Hex is a bit better at the moment.
I think that's hard. You know what? It's hard for me to say because I could either assume that something could try to keep it at parity to appease those specific ink, LP providers, right? But, to me, maybe if you were to just let it naturally happen, I think that P-Hex will eventually kind of outshine E-Hex in price. Not crazily so. I still have my E-Hex. I haven't dumped any of my E-Hex for P-Hex, but here's the thing. It depends. There are different ways that I'm bullish on this ink token because there are different ways that Richard could pump money into this system. And some of the ways I see it is either trying to keep the E-Hex and P-Hex at a specific parity for the LP, to bring in ink and money and everything, and to have people more comfortable with working with Hex, or to funnel money in through the ink. This is just conjecture. I mean, I'm just thinking on the stream, but the answer to that, I feel like unless there's an outside movement, I think P-Hex will kind of outdo E-Hex a little bit over time, but it won't be a huge amount, right? But it could go either way. That's a hard one. I can't say concretely what I think.
I kind of feel the same as you. I think that
one or the other, but I don't think E-Hex is going to outdo P-Hex, but I think P-Hex.
I'm leaning more towards P-Hex. I mean, it's the new thing. Whether you know about Hex now or not, and you find out now, you're going to be like, what does everyone want the new thing, right? So they're going to like, okay, so PulseChain's the new fork and P-Hex is the new Hex. Why would I interact with E-Hex when it's expensive and gas fees on Ethereum and what's not? So I don't think it's going to be crazy, but I think P-Hex will be more enticing and probably be a few steps ahead of E-Hex until maybe someone steps in and then we start to, or maybe there's kind of like a concentrated movement to get them to parity and lock them there. But Yeah,
I
we'll
don't know
see.
what's going to happen with that, because that could happen too. So it depends. That's one of those things where I think it's equally able to happen or not happen. But if we were to just leave it alone, P-Hex would kind of outdo it. Here's something I thought about the other day too. When I was ending some stakes on some hex, and I happened to have E-Hex and P-Hex, and they kind of ended, shortly after the snapshot. So there were relatively small stakes, but I went to unstake them on Ethereum, and it was so expensive that I'm like, I'm going to let it bleed out a bit because this is stupid. And am I going to, mint my Hedron off of these? No, they're small. It's not worth it. I go over to the P side, although we haven't really found the price yet, but relatively, in USD, it was cheap to just unstake and mint Hedron. And so what does that tell you? That means I'll bet that there is going to be more Hedron screwed off on the ETH side because it's so expensive to mint from these stakes. What might that do to the Hedron, supply? I don't know if that's enough to make a big difference, but Hedron's something to think about with the E and P. And I think there might actually be more of a disparity there because of the amount that is going to be minted, but I don't know. And I had some Hedron and I guess Hedron and E-Hedron, right? That's what we're going to call it now. And I'm like, well, I could put up LP, but you know what? I don't know what's going to happen. There might actually be some volatility and a permanent loss there. I don't know. I didn't quite do it, but I could be completely wrong. But it's just, there's so much to think about, right? Like when you assume one's the gas price is high, the other gas price is low, how does that work out? And there's some fascinating things to think about.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, especially for new people coming in. I mean, for example, when I first found out about the sacrifice phase for PulseChain and about the copy back in 2021, I remember my mindset, which was like, well, okay, this Ethereum and E-Hex is done then. Obviously, it's all about PulseChain and P-Hex. Now, I know now that I've been in the community for a couple of years and what's not, that's not my attitude. But for people coming in, I think it will be, right? Why they're like, Hedron's costing X amount to mint or whatever. Why wouldn't I just buy it on PulseChain? And, so I think time will tell, obviously. And there's a lot of people, there's obviously two sides of the argument. Some are saying no, some are saying yes. I see a lot of people that are saying no are people who are obviously more invested because they have bigger bags of Hedron or E-Hex, which is understandable. But obviously the market decides, right? The market decides what it is. And I think PulseChain is more, obviously it's not, I don't think it is more efficient than Ethereum price-wise, and obviously even throughput and what's not. So we're going to see. Listen, I'm doing some LPing for E-Hex and P-Hex, so I'd love them to reach parity and everything.
I want them to have parity too. I was just going to say, if I were to have my wish, I wish they would have parity.
Yep, because I want that to be stable. I don't want to be getting in permanent loss. If I do, it's not the end of the world because you get Hex either way, and I believe in Hex on both chains. But yeah, it's definitely an interesting conversation. You said you're also going to be using liquid loans, I guess this is more in your long-term strategy. Is that it? Have you got anything else up your sleeve in the bag that you want to let us know about?
That I want to let you know about, huh?
Or maybe some breadcrumbs for us to, yeah.
I'm looking at, I've never been a maxi. I've always let this be known ever since my first stream with Corey. I'm going to look at all the projects on the Pulse chain, and I'm going to do math to figure out the best strategy. And if it looks and feels like the right thing to do, I'll go for it. And that's going to take a lot of research, and I'm not going to ape into anything. I'm going to go read the white papers on everything, go to Pulse Police, make sure things are legit, and go look at them. Like, I've been playing with Pulse Kittens. It's a lot of fun if you want to look at it.
What is Pulse Kittens? I have no idea what you're talking about.
It's pulsekittens.io. It's a game, like simulated game. Pulse. And
don't shill a big rug on here, please. I'm joking. I'm kidding.
You know
I'm kidding.
what? I mean, just stuff.
No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. I know you're not. But like, what? So what is it? Is it like a game that you go in there and you put some pulse in, and then you kind of like have a little flutter?
There's NFTs and whatever. Yeah, I'll have to check it out. Cool. But overall, yeah, I'm gonna do the liquid loans strategy. I want to do that with the earn as well. So the loan and earn. I want to do both of those. I think. So for where I live, this is not financial advice, but there might be some, advantages to taking a loan out on your asset. Now that I have some stuff, I'm really starting to think about how much do I want to play with? How much do I want to, like what I want to do. That's another reason why I'm trying to make strategic moves right now. Like, okay, I want to be kind of like an accountant with this stuff of like how much am I going to get into things? What do I trust? What am I going to do? LP wise, what does that mean? So, oh my God, it's overwhelming. We still have stuff to look at on the E side, the Watsas. We have E Watsas and P Watsas, all the ICASA stuff on both chains. And Alex has that all hooked up on the ICASA site. And even Richard was mentioning, you could probably unstake Hex on the ICASA.pro site. Like, it's so much.
I think that's the best site to go to check all your stakes on both chains. I think that's the most reliable one at the moment. Hex.com isn't showing up on the Pulse chain, or it's a bit glitchy or something. So the ICOSA is. But going back to what you were saying, there's so much going on. I think in life sometimes you just need to know that you're not going to be able to take every opportunity. And if you do try and spread yourself too thin, you'll get nothing, right? If you try and become a master at 5 different things, you'll become a master at nothing. So I think what you just said there, if I can sum it up for you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're going to take your time, you're going to read the white papers, you're going to do your due diligence, and you're going to pick a few good horses, hopefully, and let them run, rather than trying to get into every single. Of course, like you said, you might have a little play with the Pulse Kitties or this and that, but you're not going to be trying to be everywhere on everything, because a lot of the time you end up with nothing, where when you do your research and you do your due diligence, you kind of have more of a long-term strategy there.
Yeah, like if you're not sure and you have to ask someone if you should do something and you're kind of like, well, people are making money on it, I don't know, maybe I should, then err on the side of not doing it.
Yeah.
Until you know what you want to do. And that's with any project. And, this is coming from someone who's part of them, but, it's hard to explain to people like the time that I put in the effort to researching what I want to do and not. And sometimes I'm not even right, like in life, I got Quark way early back with, in Bitcoin that blew up. I put an extra 0 on a Hedron auction, and that was stupid. So, don't take just because I research, but just be careful out there, guys, but have fun. It's Pulse Chain. There's so many things to do. Even now, Richard brought in like wrap Bitcoin and stuff like that. I haven't even checked that out yet.
What was that whole debacle about? Was it? Do you know?
I don't know. I've just been doing my own things. There are things that I haven't gotten to yet, because I'm just looking at all of these charts of stuff I already know about. Mm-hmm. With the new stuff, I don't mind giving it a little bit of time to just settle before I really jump in and go and see what it's about.
Yeah, you have to knuckle down and just kind of like find a few things. A kind of analogy that just popped into my head is when I was younger and I'd be in my party days and I go to a nightclub and there's hot girls everywhere. You can't speak to every girl because you're going to end up with no girls. You need to pick 1 or 2 and start talking to them instead of going like, oh, she's hot. That's like Pulse Chain right now. And that's what it's going to get even worse when everything starts coming out on it. So yes,
automate it, Matt. You can make a bot to just get all their Instas and just send them what up girls, all of them.
I need to hire a dev. And then also because of chat GPT now, I could like craft different kind of like, so it looks like I'm talking to them in real time.
Just like, I want it to be like Tyrese lyrics. Sweet lady, would you? Yeah, just coming home with 800 girls.
Yeah,
Jeez,
I mean,
Matt.
I'd have to clone myself to deal with that, but that's a
You got
good
a
problem
hard
to have.
fork. You have to what? No. Oh, Hodpril, shut up.
Oh no, listen, I love your tweets. Sometimes your tweets are just so
Gross.
filled with fun and innuendo that I'm just I'm just going through Twitter and I'm like
when
oh,
I trolled Cinnabon.
I love it. Yeah,
That was
yes,
good times.
I love them. I love them. Don't stop being you because
Oh, I can't.
they're the best. But yeah, that's my analogy for it. A little bit crude. There's hot, shiny stuff everywhere. What are you going to do? Listen to Hodpril, slow down, research.
Not financial advice, but you know.
Not financial advice, but mistakes do love a rush decision. And when I look back through my life, anything that I've done rushed, not just especially with the crypto and finances, but anything, I could have taken my time and done more research and slowed down and learned more about what I was going to do, whether that's moving to a new country, buying a new house, buying a new car, and it probably would have worked out better. So the FOMO is going to be real in crypto always because it's the nature of the game, right? Telegram, Twitter, everyone's making you feel like if you get into this pump, you could also get the next 10, 20, 30x. But yeah, do your own research. I like your logical, calm, methodical approach, Hodpril. What do you think about the next bull market? Do you think it's 2025?
Oh God, I don't know. You know, because I see different scenarios in my head where it could be the case, and I see high probabilities that one of those might happen. But then, looking at what's happening with fiat, with different things, I think that our ecosystem will go up because it's new and it's better than Ethereum. So whether it's the bull or the bear, if you're kind of long term, like I assume we are, and you're just trying to accumulate Pulse and everything else in the ecosystem, Hex, don't forget about Hex, you guys. Hex is still there. E-Hex, P-Hex, it's still there. All this craziness got some people dumping from Hex into other things. Like, you want to make the smart move, you might think about looking at Hex. Like, what do you think's going to happen? You think it's going to stay down while all this people are just freaking out about everything else? No, it's the baby. It's the main player. It's the main character. Is this Hex? You know, though it may be a Gemini now, as it's E-Hex and P-Hex. I do hope it retains parity, but who knows? You know, but I have high hopes for Hex. I actually have medium long-term high hopes for PulseX too. I mean, I have high hopes for the longevity of all this stuff, right? Or Richard wouldn't have asked us to, you know, donate money to a longevity wizard, right?
Exactly.
But,
as Max just said, 100+ dApps to be deployed the next few weeks. So like you said, there's lots of stuff, but then we have, I could say, the blue chips, Hex, Pulse, PulseX. We have, you know, stuff like the Earn protocol, Earn, Watt, liquid loans. There's obviously definitely different categories and stages for stuff, which is going to be more blue chip and let's be honest, meme coins can pump hard, but they also dump hard too. So you want to balance that with utility and what it's going to do. What are you excited about? What are you excited about? Obviously, PulseChain's out and we're excited, but anything else?
I'm excited about Pulse. Does that sound boring? Because it's not. Pulse itself, it's better Ethereum. You can create stuff on it. NFTs are going to be, you know, cheaper to mint. Everything's going to be cheaper to transact. I forgot how much it cost to transact, like maybe at 10 cents or something like that. Just moving stuff. It's just so much cheaper than Ethereum. So I want to see projects on it. I want to see it go the same way as Ethereum. I want people to be careful. They, you know, anyone who sacked 2 years ago has got some money in Pulse, right? that they could diversify in other things and they could make money. But if you're not comfortable and you don't know, just hold on to that Pulse. It's going to go up. I'm really excited about Pulse itself. Tertiary, excited about PulseX single-sided staking. That's really cool.
When do you think we'll see that? Do you have any ideas?
I don't. I have no idea. I have no idea, and I don't mind if they take a while for that, because I want all of our I want there to be enough pools and for people to see them, to know what they want, right? If you introduce that too early, I don't know, it could be a little volatile is not the right word for it. I just want people to know what liquidity pool they want to be a part, or know what pair they want to be a part of, like with single-sided staking, know what token they want to champion, kind of see enough time for the pattern for them to know, if they're not already aware with their own deduction, what they want to, do. So I don't want anything to rush. I think and I have faith that Richard will launch things when they should launch, when people will be able to see patterns and choose what they value in their strategy before that sort of thing launches. But I'm excited for it.
I mean, I'm definitely excited for those. I'm like you. I'm excited about Pulse, but I think PulseX is undervalued, and I think there's two exciting things you could do with PulseX. You can use the Earn protocol to gain liquidity, or you could put it in those single-sided staking pools. Both are yet to come, but there's exciting stuff coming for sure.
There are a lot of people that want to do accrue as much. More people want to do accrue Pulse rather than PulseX at first, probably because they weren't around for the sacrifice phase, and you need Pulse to transact too on everything. So
Yes.
And they thought it would pump first, so they did the trade. But there are some very smart people who wanted to accumulate PulseX because they saw what you see in the bullishness of its future, right? It's hard. There's so many different things to think about.
Yeah, I mean, me and my good friend Hex Turbo, we're back and forth on Telegram all day, and like he's one of my go-to guys. We just talk about stuff and this and that, and like there's so much stuff going on. It's literally, you know what we need? I was going to ask you this question. We need an RH stream. When do you think Rich is going to stream?
I don't know.
Do you think it would help? Like, it's out now. Let's get an RH stream and then get him on like with Crypto Rand and BitBoy and all these people.
I don't know. It depends on when we want things to ultimately pump, right? Because the prevailing, here's the thing about crypto, and that I guess new people might want to be privy to, is you're not always, sometimes a dump or sometimes a lull is as exciting as a pump. Because you know what's happening, and when things are supposed to happen, when the timings of things are supposed to happen. And sometimes a pump that's too fast and too unavailable for people won't be distributed as well as if it took a little while longer. So this slow bridge trickle that happened, there are some people that think that it was actually on purpose. I don't necessarily think that, but even if it wasn't, okay, what does that long green candle look like to investors, rather than just, it pumped like a Dogecoin after an Elon Musk tweet? Well, I guess I'm too late. I'm too late to get in, right? I don't even have Pulse to unwrap. I'm too late. What about a slower burn upward? What about some iterative moves that aren't all at once? People are all excited. I want 1,000x. I want a 10,000x. Like, you just wait, because if you can't wait, you're not going to get there, because that's not how it goes. You have to have it crawl up. You have to have users. You have to let them win too. They need a piece of the pie too, and that's why I don't know when he's going to stream again or what his moves are going to be. But I do trust that he's aware of that. He knows about timing the market. He knows about a really low price and a slow move upwards and a dip and a move upwards and a dip. You know, he's aware of how to build the hype. So I'm just gonna hold and wait and see. I don't know when he's gonna stream.
You're a rare kind in crypto, Hodpril. You're just that's the opposite of what everyone wants, but it's good. What you're saying is actually true. Yeah, you don't want that.
Trust me, that's what you want. If you're going to make it, instead of the 80-90% of people that either hold the same amount or don't, that's what you want.
You want that slow and steady wins the race. And of course, for every 1 in 10 million, you know, there's one in 10 million that got rich off, you know, a quick Doge pump. Most people got wrecked, right? So, you know, are you going to be that 1 in 10 million or 1 in a million or whatever? It's like, probably not. It's probably better to find some good projects. You know, if you've sacrificed or you've done your research and you're going to hold those long term and have that slow and steady. So I like that mindset. You're very calm. You're very methodical. And I think this is what we need more of impulse chain in crypto. But it's easier said than done when the emotions are pumping, when the charts are pumping. Oh, you've got a little zoom in there.
No, see, it's just my camera's blurry, but no, I'm listening to you. Yeah, the pump and the excitement. It's like someone was joking around with me. I forgot where it was. It was a Twitter space where it's like, oh, what should I wear for PulseChain launch? You know, what outfit should I get? And I'm like, a straight jacket. Get yourself a straight jacket so you don't touch your wallet. If you don't already know what you're going to do before launch, just don't do anything. Don't do it and wait for don't cry on the dumps. Don't get scared, right? Just the scariest thing is dumping when you're in the red. You don't have to do that with something that's new and volatile. Just you get scared, go and play a stupid game. Go to the lake, go and calm down because it's going to be all right.
Dumping in the red is just sacrilegious. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it even if like I needed the money. I'd be like, no, I can't. It's too depressing. I brought this amount and I'm selling at this amount. It's like, no. Like it just, luckily for me, I bought stocks before I got into crypto and some ETFs. And I just from reading books when I was younger, it was like, if you're going to invest in something, do it long term. So even though I came into crypto with that kind of, oh, I could get rich quicker here, I still had that, well, even if it goes down, it'll come back up if it's a good project, of course. If it's just some weird dog coin that got invented 2 days ago, probably not. But, you know, I think, dumping in the red makes me feel sick.
I could see you dumping in the red for something and then just this black and white montage of you at the gym just beating some bag, like just angry, sweat. It's a Hollywood movie. And then,
I'd have to punish myself, so it would be some disgusting workout until I puked or something. Anyway, everyone should do what they want, but just dumping in the red for me is just like, I mean, it's basic, isn't it? It's like I brought for $1,000 and I'm selling for $500, right? And it's like I just literally put that money down the drain. So I don't know.
It's not about the money for Matt. It's about the personal pride.
Yeah, maybe it's just about my masculinity, my toxic masculinity is
toxic. You know what? Keep it toxic because that's some good moves, man. In crypto, just
exactly.
Don't dump on the red.
Don't dump in the red. So what is Hodpril's, and again, not financial advice, what is the safest way, in your opinion, for someone to really make it on PulseChain and to become, let's say, financially free or much better than they are in the next bull market? Is it just hodling, or is it hodling mixed with strategic dipping your toes in?
I would say hodl. Put a percentage of your bag that's large into just hodling so you're not wrecked, right? Biggest thing, people aren't going to like this. Make your overhead not extremely high, right? You want to see how many people do make it? Even those people that did make it on Doge, this Lambo out, and then all of a sudden they have to take that Lambo to the super, you know, like you just can't even afford it anymore. Like of the people that make it in crypto, how many of them up the cost of their living to where it's unsustainable.
What do they call it?
Anything
Lifestyle
else would
inflation,
happen.
right?
Yeah, I guess it would be. So you want to make it, just don't adjust your life immediately to any gains you get, like especially when it comes to, let's say there's a high APY on some of these LPs, for example. Okay. Oh, I'm making this amount a day. I'm going to go lease a new vehicle that I can't afford otherwise. Like, you think that API is going to stay that high?
Yeah.
Maybe you're wrong. If you can, the best way to do this is assuming you're not lucky on a gamble, right? Or lucky on something. Hold. I like the idea of PowerCity and liquid loans, of borrowing on an asset. And actually, Hedron is technically that too, borrowing it on an asset. I like that. I am not an accountant. You can decide what you want to do with that. But that's kind of an extension of hodling, but taking a loan out on an asset, right? It's essentially the same. But overall, if I were to give advice, just hold. Don't do anything crazy unless you really know what you're going to do. You're pretty sure of it. And keep your cost of living not ridiculous. So you, like, find a way to still hold in 5 years. You know what I mean? Does that sound impossible? It's not. It's been 2 years since we sacked, you know? So keep your overhead low enough to give yourself wiggle room. Keep your degen bag low enough compared to your holding bag to where you don't lose everything. And you're going to see people that have won more than you, and you don't know what their background is. You don't know what their story is. You don't know what they need money for, and you don't know how dumb they are with their money. Some whales and dolphins, you know, if you think that, if you have any sort of jealousy over people that made a bigger move or made it before, you don't know. You don't know the whole story. Just look at yourself. Look at what you want. And if you hold, you're going to outdo some of the highest people that you've seen. Because I used to do Bitcoin, like trading in Mt. Gox and BTC and everything. And all of these people with tons of Bitcoin, they'd you know, go back and forth. And I was not one of those people. I was a small time person. And there would be times where, you know, why am I even doing this? This is such chump change compared to these people who are pumping and dumping the market. They're really getting into it, or farming. And I'm just not at that level. But if you just sit and hold and don't touch it, you will outdo a lot of these people that you would never dream you could outdo because of life circumstance. So don't feel bad for being safe or boring, because tortoise and the hare, like you can win out. You can win that game. And it's not that hard.
It's 100% what you said. Both sides of that is hodl. We hear that a lot, right? Hodl, hold 3, 5, 6, 10 years. What would happen if you'd have got Bitcoin at the beginning and held, you know, until 2021 or even now? But then also, I don't hear enough people just say what you said about lifestyle inflation. And it's so easy when the money starts rolling in to think, yeah, nicer house, car, you know, I want to flex like RH and what's not. And even he says, don't do this. Don't do this.
Don't go to the club and say, like, guess who made it on PulseChain in crypto? Don't do that. You want someone there because you made it in crypto? Yes. You want someone there that expects you to take them out to ribeyes every night in the Maseratis? You want to
That's a very good dating tip. Set the frame from the beginning. If you lead with money, people expect it, right? And obviously you attract a certain type of person. If someone already likes you and then they find out, what did I hear someone say? This is a really interesting way. If you lead with money, it's too try hard. But if you just start getting into a relationship with someone and then later down the line they find out you've got money, it's so much better, because it, like, you didn't lead with it. They like you for who you are. And then they find out, okay, this person's done well in crypto or whatever. So yeah, I think it's good advice. Don't start.
You know what's great about crypto? Not to interrupt you, but right on that point is, like, you could not be lying about it if you're staked. I don't have liquid. Don't have liquid.
So you can tell them I'm going to be a millionaire in 15 years.
You could. Would it be a lie if you're staking Hex?
Not technically, but I guess when she's like, right, where's the yacht? and the Maserati and the villa in south of France, and you're like,
girl, you're gonna have to have bologna sandwiches all the way up to that, or
yeah, okay.
it's.
We'll see who hangs around, and if he or she hangs around, they're a keeper, right? Because they're willing to stick through the thick and thin. But no, I honestly think that lifestyle inflation and keeping things simple for me.
Yeah,
I think we were talking earlier about making mistakes and learning from them, and I think I've learned a few things in life, but mainly through making mistakes and times where I thought, yeah, I needed all these designer clothes, or I need to go here to look cool, or I want to show off. It wasn't worth it. And living a much more simple life, I think is more stress-free, and it allows you to have more wiggle room depending on what's going on with the markets. So I think that is a great tip for sure. What have we got down here? Anyone? Oh, sorry, I thought that was a question that needs to be answered, but it doesn't. So also,
you could look. That's fine. I haven't looked at the chat actually. Let me see.
There's been obviously a lot of comments.
Oh, really? Oh.
A lot of comments on our funny topics of going off stream and talking off topic and talking about your Twitter,
whatever.
Your Twitter posts that
always
always get me a bit hot under the collar, to be honest.
I'm a rated PG, just shit posting queen. It's not all about money for me. I'm not paid to tweet or anything, so I'm just you're the opposite of a paid shill. You're just like, I want to say this, I'm going to say this, which is perfect. I'm a troll. Nobody hires Hodpril. I'm here to just. My mom used to do all these prank calls all day long, and she'd record them. That was awesome. So maybe it's just a little bit of. Oh yeah, she used to she had the cassette recorder and call them up. Oh, God. Help! My foot popped my tire, and just voices and everything, and like she was big on the whole it wasn't crank anchors, it was older than that. It was what was that called? Prank jerky boys. So yeah, she'd just troll, before there's Twitter. So maybe got a little bit of that in me, just messing with
just
people.
For fun.
Oh, it's the best fun you could ever have.
What a character. Well, what a mum.
Oh yeah, she's funny. It's a funny lady.
So you've taken that from her and now brought it over to Twitter, and they brighten my day. So like I said, don't stop doing those for sure. They are.
I'm due for another trolling.
You know what, you've been in crypto since Mountain Gox days. So you're definitely from a different class of the pay me 100K to say this, pay me 100K to that. You're just like, no, you know what? I've been here since the early days. I don't need your money. I'm going to just say what I want. Very, very cool.
I like filet mignon and I like bologna sandwiches. All right. And it is what it is. We're just on this big spinning world. Trust me, it's better to have money than be broke. But you know what? We have to just enjoy our time here. And if everything's just such a huge hustle on Twitter and social media. Oh, I'm on here just to pump a token, just so I make money, and just even, Machiavellian, try to screw people over. Like, that's not a fun way to spend every day. Just go on there and be there and just troll and share people's stuff and look. And, if you're decent, you'll get enough, hints of what to maybe invest in or whatever, even if you're not just hardcore shilling a specific thing. That's the way I see it. I don't know.
100%. I don't know how people can put their head on the pillow when they're trying to get people wrecked and, profit off them and dump on their head. And like you said, we're on this weird spinning rock. And for me, maybe you have the same kind of ethos or philosophy. It's like money's freedom, right? So it allows you to do what you want, when you want, with who you want. And if you had all the money in the world or billions of dollars stacked up in your basement or your front room, what's it going to be? It's firewood, right? You can't do anything with it. It's just, it gives you the freedom to do stuff. So yes, what's the saying? Use things and not people. But most people do the other way around. They use people and love things. That's it. Love people and use things, but most people love things and use people. So get that mixed up. And
it's funny on that, to expound on that. And I know we have, money is just social credit. Think about it. Money is just something to trade someone that you don't know to do a favor for you, which is good, because it's good that they have money. It's good that you're giving them social credit for your social credit. So, you know, the whole term social credit has just become some CCP non-word, but really,
communist.
It sounds kind of communist, but anyway, it's pretty cool advice.
No, it's true. It's their vouchers.
But it is, and not that you should try to get favors from people without giving them money or everything, but you'd be surprised how, you know, there are opportunities there that you don't have to be rich or to have that much power to get if you're just cool and around there for people and able to listen, you know.
Be a cool person.
Yeah, be a cool person, you know.
I heard a good, like, another kind of like idiom, and it's like, leave everyone better than you found them, right? Whether it's just a stranger in the street that you open the door for and smile at, or whether it's someone you spend the rest of your life with, but leave them better than you found them. And if you kind of go through life with that philosophy, you know, obviously everyone's going to make mistakes and no one's perfect, but I think you can be a force for good in the world instead of a negative vampire sucking people's energy. Listen, Hodpril, this has been amazing. I always love talking to you, and we need to do this more often. Yes. I'm going to wrap it up in about an hour because, you know, it drops off with the engagement and what's not. But I've loved having you on, and I love our chats. You have to come back on again soon. Where can the people find out more about you and your beautiful self? I am on Twitter as Hodpril and Telegram as Hodpril. Everything else I've just ignored. So, and I always see you popping up and helping out in chats and adminning and being Hodpril, which is amazing. So I don't need to say this, but keep being you. Keep putting those tweets out that get us a bit hot under the collar. And yeah. Cinnabon, I'm talking to you. I was talking to you, Cinnabon. I got you. That was the best. That was the best. But for those who don't know what I'm talking about, just stay tuned to Hodpril's Twitter, and I'm sure you'll find out pretty soon. Thanks for coming on, and you'll have to come back on soon. Guys, Miss Hodpril, what a legend. Definitely go and follow her on Twitter for some great tweets and some entertaining content. And if you like content like this, do hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you're notified every time we drop new content on the channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one. Peace.